Once again, I welcome you all. Today, we are going to talk on classification of vowel sounds. So, students, as you know very well, in the previous class, I told you in detail about the various aspects of English phonetics, and now you are well familiar with the total number of sounds in English, that is 44, and the division of the sounds, that is in the form of vowel sounds and consonant sounds. In this lecture, you will come to know in detail about the classification of English vowel sounds. So before we start with the classification of vowels, I think we need to understand the definition of vowels also. What do you mean by a vowel? If you refer to any dictionary, you will come across this kind of definition. A vowel is a syllabic speech sound pronounced without any stricture in the vocal tracts. If you remember, yesterday I spoke about this aspect in detail, and of course there will be some repetition in this class also, because we are going to have a detailed discussion on the vowel sounds in English. So as far as speech sounds are concerned, as you know, there are two principal classes, one vowels and the other consonants. So let us see now how this classification of vowel sounds is done in the realm of phonetics. Actually, the vowels are classified on the basis of position of the palate, tongue and the lips. So far, the position of soft palate is concerned, it is always in the raised position at the time of the production of vowel sounds. When it comes to the lips position, actually lips can assume different positions, like lips can be spread, neutral, rounded, unrounded and so on. So the production of vowel sound leads to the lips to assume certain shape, and that shape is also playing a crucial role in the production of vowel sounds in English. So the shape assumed by the tongue, that is the parts of the tongue which are responsible for the production of vowels, are the front of the tongue, back of the tongue and the imaginary part where the front and the back are supposed to meet, that is the center of the tongue. So this is how, whenever we talk in general about the classification of vowel sounds, we need to take all these resonators into consideration. So coming down to the next slide, you see here I have just provided a statement, that is the vowel sounds. In fact, we have 12 pure vowels in English and 8 diphthongs. So 12 plus 8 is equal to 20 total number of vowel sounds in English. So in English phonetics, we have 20 vowel sounds, of which 12 are the pure vowels. In other words, they are also called monophthongs, and 8 diphthongs. So mono stands for one, single, and diphthongs, di stands for two. So far, the structure of the monophthongs is concerned, they are pure vowels. But when it comes to diphthongs, diphthongs are the vowels which are formed with the help of two different vowels. The glide starts from one vowel, leads to the another vowel, that glide is completed, and that glide from one to the other is called a diphthong. So here, whenever we talk about the production of such kind of vowels, or vowels in particular, instead of saying such kind of vowels, vowels in particular, the production of vowel sounds occur without obstruction or narrowing in the vocal tract. So one thing we need to remember, when we compare the vowel sounds and consonant sounds, in my previous lecture I spoke about it. So here there will be a bit of repetition. So one thing we need to remember always, that whenever we are trying to produce the vowel sounds in English, they are produced without any kind of obstruction or without making any sort of narrowing in the vocal tract. Number 2, the vowel sound is produced due to an audible friction without obstruction and narrowing of a degree in the vocal tract, pharynx and mouth cavity also. It means when the pulmonic air comes from the lungs, finds an vibration or finds an obstruction first in the vocal cords, because all vowel sounds are voice sounds. So vocal cords considerably vibrate. So when they vibrate, they create the sound, they produce the sound. The articulation of or the pronunciation of the sound takes place here in the vocal cords, and later you find no obstruction at all. So the vowel sounds are differentiated due to the length of the sound also. So vowels are actually classified based on whether they are voiced or voiceless. Already I said all the vowel sounds are purely voiced sounds. There is no voiceless sound as far as vowels are concerned. Number 2, they are oral sounds. Nothing is being pronounced through the nasal cavity. The air that comes from the lungs straight away pass through the vocal tract, vocal cords, pharynx and mouth cavity. And third, the production of vowels do not have any kind of obstruction. So these are the 3 important aspects related to the pronunciation of vowel sounds in English. Now you see, I have projected a diagram there. The diagram given below depicts various positions of pure vowel sounds and their 3 term labels also. Please be very careful while reading this particular diagram on your screen. This is of course recommended by International Phonetic Association, and this is called International Phonetic Alphabets for English Vowels. So how is the division made here as far as all the 12 vowels are concerned? You can see I have applied 3 different colors for different types of vowel sounds. I have applied green color for front vowels, yellow color for central vowels and blue color for back vowels. Okay, so this is how is the division made. Now you need to understand how to read this type of diagram. If you see from the top, that is from the heading, I would say English vowels, you have 3 words pointed out. Right in the beginning you have the front vowels. Actually there are 4 front vowels: E, E, A, A. These are the 4 front vowels that I marked with a green color. Then you have the central vowels, because the production of speech takes place at the middle of the tongue or central part of the tongue, and that's why they are called central vowels. They are 3 in number. If you see, I have assigned yellow color there. 1, which is a long vowel, which is a normal sound, which is a short vowel, I would say, and you have another short vowel, that ends very quickly at the time of the production. So these are the three central vowels. Now you have the another set of vowels here which are colored with blue, and you have 5 vowels which are called back vowels in English. You have oo, which is a long vowel, short vowel oo, then you have another long vowel here o, you have another short vowel there o, and then the long vowel there ah. So one thing I would like to say, you will find that there are a few identified symbols given there. Wherever you find the colon kind of 2 dots exactly next to the particular symbol, such is the indication that that particular sound is a long vowel. So now you see E, the first one, then in the central in the middle, and then you have back vowel oo on the top, in the middle o, and at the bottom near open, that is ah. So these are the 5 long vowels here. So how to identify the long vowels? Whenever you find a colon exactly next to the symbol of the sound, that sound is a long sound. Now switch over. Next, whenever we talk about the vowel sounds, we need to be very careful about the length also, because just before I talked about the short vowels and long vowels. So this particular slide will give you a very clear idea once again about the length of the vowel sounds as such. So there are 7 short vowels: E, A, O, U, A. So these are the 7 short vowels. So since you cannot see any colon mark over there, so all these are the short vowels. Now you see there are 5 long vowels. Opposite to all these symbols, you will find the colon mark given: E, U, O, A, These are the 5 long vowels in English phonetics. Coming to the 8 diphthongs, you will find that there is nothing like a long diphthong or a short diphthong. So they are simply treated as they are the identified glides from one vowel sound to the another vowel sound. So the 8 diphthongs are A, I, Oi. So these 3 are ending with E sound. Another 2 are ending with U sound: O, Au. Then you have the another set of diphthongs which are ending with A sound: Ia, Ea, Ua. So altogether you have 8 diphthongs: A, I, Oi, O, Au, Ia, Ea, Ua. So this is how, whenever we talk about vowel sounds in English, we need to take this length aspect into consideration also. Another aspect also we need to take care of, that is the tongue position of the vowel sounds. What is the tongue position? Already I said when I was explaining the diagram given there. So the front vowels, central vowels, and back vowels. What do you mean by the front vowels? Front vowel means the production of these sounds are taking place in the front part of your tongue. Means the front part of the tongue is raised, it is elevated at the time of production. Such sounds are called front vowels. When the back of the tongue is raised or elevated at the time of the production of sound, such sounds are called back vowels. And when the central part of the tongue is elevated or raised at the time of the pronunciation of the sounds, such sounds are called central vowels. So let us look at this one now. There are 4 front vowels. I have already segregated them as per the categories marked here. The front vowels are E, E, A, A. So the first one, E, is a long vowel, and the other three are the short vowels. Then you have the back vowels here. There are 3 long vowels and only 2 short vowels, which are called back vowels. A, O, U, and U. So these are the 5 back vowels. And then you have the central vowels. They are only 3 in number. The very short pronunciation of A is A. Then the long one is A, and the medial one, it is neither very quick nor the long, it is A normal pronunciation. So this is how the tongue positions also make an important contribution in the production of vowel sounds in English. Let us look at this table. I am trying to give you a very clear picture in totality as far as vowel sounds are concerned. Here you will come to know what are the short vowels. You will also come to know what are the long vowels. So that aspect is covered. Second, you will come to know which is a close vowel or open vowel or a middle vowel. That is one aspect of understanding. And the third one is whether it is a front vowel or a central vowel or a back vowel. So all these 3 aspects, which are very crucial as far as the pronunciation of vowel sounds is concerned, I think this table is going to give you everything. In between, I have also marked this term like long and short. So whichever is long, I have put it into that particular category, and the sounds which are short, I of course mentioned them under that particular category. So if at all you could remember this particular table forever, I think you will never go wrong as far as the description and classification of vowel sounds in English is concerned. So I am not going to repeat anything here, but this table will be helpful to you, and all these aspects, that is whether the sound is long or short, whether the sound is open, middle or close, or the sound is front, central or back, all these aspects we have already studied. So one thing I would like to mention once again, if you go back to the diagram, English vowels diagram, I think I need to once again explain you how to read it out. So here you have the front vowels, central vowels and back vowels. So this is the elevated position of your tongue when you produce the particular English vowel sound. Now if you see vertically, I have mentioned 4 things over there: close, half open, open. So these are the positions of your mouth cavity. Open position means when your mouth is widely open for the production of the sound. For example, ah, ah, okay. Then you have the half open position. It is neither half closed nor open. So it is somewhere in between, like it is neither fully open nor half closed. So it is somewhere in between. That's why it is called half open. Then you have the half closed position. You have couple of sounds there which are very near to or just above the position of the half closed, that is E and U, which are short vowels as such. And then you have the closed position of your tongue or the mouth cavity, not the tongue, mouth cavity, that is oo. It means you can realize the difference between oo, ah, okay. So when you produce oo, your lips are quite near to each other. That is how it is a closed position. Not completely closed, they are near to closed position. And then when you pronounce the longest one, that is ah, so your mouth is totally wide apart and it is opening full space of your own. So this is the position of the mouth or the lips as such. So now this particular table will give you a very comprehensive and a clear idea about the closed, middle and open position of your mouth cavity. Then it will also let you know about the front, central and back positions of your tongue. and it will also let you know whether the sound is short or long. So let us move towards the next important aspect of the classification of vowel sounds of English. What is that? That is three-term label. In fact, we have discussed it, but in other terms I am going to explain the same thing now. So what do you mean by three-term label? Actually, the three-term label description of vowel sounds are made up of three different components, and that's why this is called three-term label. There are three different terms. Actually, they are the labels given to certain aspects, and they are three in number, and that's why they are called three-term label. So let us understand the first label. Number one, that is the first label, open or close. So first of all, we have to identify, whenever we try to describe any vowel sound, we need to identify whether the vowel sound is a open sound, half open sound, closed sound, or half closed sound. These are the four positions which are found in the mouth cavity. Okay, so that is how your mouth is either a closed position like oo and very open position like ah. Okay, so in between you get half open and half closed, both the positions. Number two, you have the vowels like either the front vowel or the central vowel or the back vowel. It means where is the elevation of the tongue at the time of the production of the vowel sound. If it is a front vowel, front of the tongue will be raised. If it is a middle vowel, that is the central part of the tongue will be raised. And if at all it is a back vowel, there are 5 back vowels as I said. So in these cases, back of the tongue will be raised. Now the third component of three-term label is you need to identify the lips position. Lips can assume different positions. You have a rounded or the unrounded position. You have a spread position. You have a neutral position. So depending on your requirement of the particular production of the sound, the mouth cavity will automatically assume, or the lips will automatically assume that particular type of shape, and that is called either the rounded, unrounded, spread or neutral shape of the lips. So this is how is the three-term label interpretation as such. So all of these distinctions refer to where the tongue moves in the mouth cavity when a particular vowel sound is produced or pronounced. Now you see here in this table, I have provided the full details of all the symbols of pure vowels, that is 12 monophthongs, starting from the first one, that is a long vowel E, and ending with the middle vowel short one A. So let us try to understand now. Already I have explained you what I mean to say about the three-term labels, and three-term description is also provided here for your better understanding. Let us look at this. The first one, I will simply read out whatever is provided on your screen now, and we will also try to take a few examples in order to understand each and every sound here. Let us look at this. The first one, as it is provided with a colon there, so of course actually I should not use that word here. It is not a phonetical term, but in general you can easily understand that. That's why I'm calling it, using a colon exactly next to the symbol of the sound. So that is a long vowel. So you can easily identify E, U, O, A and E. So these are the 5 long vowels here, and others are the short vowels. So let us see now the first one with the three-term label description. E. E is a front, unrounded, long vowel just below close position. Actually, you can associate this description with the first diagram that I have shown. Which diagram? This particular diagram of vowels. When I look at it, you can simply read it out. I am reading the first one on the top, near to the front. Green color is already provided there, and when you read it out, how do you read it out? You read it out like this. E is a front, unrounded, long vowel just below close position. So if you look at the diagram and you try to associate this one with this description, I think you will be able to understand what exactly I mean to say, and I am also trying to convince you to read out the diagram properly. Number 2, short vowel E. E is a centralized front unrounded vowel just above the half close position. Again, you try to go back to this particular diagram. E is a centralized front unrounded vowel just above the half close position, right? Number 3, A. A is a front unrounded vowel between half close and half open position. If you see the location of this one, it is neither near the close position nor the open position. So it is exactly in the middle, and that's why it is said like this. A is a front unrounded vowel between half close and half open position. 4th, A. Now once again you go back to the diagram. A is a front unrounded vowel below the half open position. You can make out easily here because all these locations are very clearly identified and marked over there in a particular color. So you will be able to read it out like this. This A is a front unrounded vowel below the half open position. So these are the 4 front vowels, I would say. Now I will talk about the back vowels. So these back vowels are enlisted here. Let us look at that. Oo. Now we will be focusing on the back part of the tongue or the back of the tongue. Okay. So you can make out easily in the diagram as well, and keep referring to the diagram again and again in order to understand the description of this particular one or the classification of this one. So oo, which is a long vowel again. Oo is a back rounded. See, while producing oo, lips position or the lips shape is round. That's why it is called rounded. Okay, it is not unrounded like the previous 4 sounds. Oo is a back rounded long vowel just below the close position. So you can associate this 3-term label with the diagram there. Next, oo, which is a short vowel. Oo is a centralized because it is not fully back, little bit moving towards the central part of the tongue. That's why it is called centralized. Oo is a centralized back rounded vowel just above the half close position. You can make out this position there. 4 positions are given, open to close. You have in between 2 more positions, half close and half open both. So altogether 4 positions are there, that of tongue. So here you can see this now. Oo is a centralized back rounded vowel just above half close position, right? Now you have the one more sound there, that is aw. Since provided with a colon mark there, so it will be called a long vowel. So aw is a back rounded vowel between half open and half close position. Then you have aw. It is a back open rounded vowel above the open position. And the last one here in the category of back vowels, you have the long vowel a. So a is a back open unrounded long vowel So this is how is the three-term description of all the back vowels in English phonetics. Now you have the Shaw symbols. These three sounds are also called Shaw symbols. Which is a long vowel, a normal pronunciation, and very short pronunciation, So these three are called Shaw symbols. So let us look at the first one, and all these three are the central vowels, means middle part of the tongue is raised. That's why they are called central vowels. So is a central unrounded long vowel between half closed and half open position. Then you have a. It is a central unrounded vowel below the half open position. And then you have the last one, that is a very quick one, a central unrounded vowel between half open and half closed position. So I hope you might have associated always with the diagram provided, and each and every sound out of all these 12 pure monophthongs or pure vowels we have tried to describe in the three-term descriptions. So due to the lack of time, I think I will not be able to extend this class further. So let us put a pause here, and in the next class, that is tomorrow, I will be able to deal with the other part of vowels, that is diphthongs, which are 8 in number, and I will be able to provide the full-fledged details of diphthongs, followed by some exercise on the pronunciations of vowel sound, that is monophthongs and diphthongs at the end. Thank you very much.